first notes?
Start all of that again. Just because I'm now recording everything.
Right, okay. So I'll say that I'm going to leave Jim to explain this properly, but this is something we have been batting around for years, but only just started working on properly in the past couple of weeks. I say working on properly. Jim has done all of the heavy lifting with this. I'm just here to give my perverted commentary on what's about to come.
So we literally started talking about this about 10 years ago, and I mean 10 years ago, when I'd spotted something rather obscure in the background of a Channel 4 TV show. When I spotted this thing, which you were about to see, you came in and went, "It's the secret Channel 4 Metalhead." And then we both sort of surmised that we believe that there is someone in the Channel 4 production department working in the years 2000, possibly 2006, up to about 2008, who was sneaking obscure metal references in the background of your favourite televisuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Channel 4.
On Channel 4.
Yes.
Nowhere else. Right. So I've done a timeline.
The timeline's brilliant.
I've tracked our conversations about this for the last 10 years. And there's something that's wrong with this, though, because I can definitely speak for myself. I haven't really watched any TV for the past 10 years, certainly not Channel 4. So there could be some glaring absences which are painfully obvious, which we don't know about.
Yeah.
But let's just jump into it. There's two concrete bits of information and evidence. Absolute concrete, as in like ones which I think are beyond doubt prove the existence of a secret cheeky sod sneaking in obscure metal things. And then there's some other hearsay. There's one which you argue is evidence, and I don't think it is.
Yes.
But let's just hash it out. Let's just fucking go. Right. Number one. So. Back
this program's amazing. I love it.
So,
just exhibit A, please the cops.
Right, actually, you know what? I'm going to name drop them because if we feature them on a podcast, they'll give us half a year premium. I could really use this for the thing I'm writing for the Roadrunner history.
All right, yeah, lad.
So this is it's just called Timeline Editor. You can find it at time.graphics.editor. So check it out. It's really fucking useful. Anyway, what you're looking at is a screenshot from a television program called The Egypts. Well, actually, it's technically called the comedy showcase The Egypts. Now, back in the day, Channel 4 used to do what Amazon did a few years ago, which was they produced about 10 pilots, or I think, let's be more realistic, about 4 or 5. And they'd broadcast these pilots on the comedy showcase over 4 or 5 weeks, and the ones that got the best reception were picked up. So I never saw The Egypts.
I never saw The Egypts.
But I saw this fucking down poster in the background of the shot.
And I can confirm that we are looking at a poster that is definitely the down logo in the background of this shot behind a bloke who looks like he's a bouncer.
Yeah, let's just be completely clear. We're putting this on YouTube. I'm capturing the screen now to show you all this stuff on YouTube. But for the audience who are listening on the podcast, the true disciples,
the true fucking Krieg warriors listening to this necro style with no visuals.
Yeah, there's a down poster in a TV show, and it's not just any fucking down poster. It's to support the third album, Over the Under, and given the timing of this broadcast, which was October 2007. The album came out in September 2007. That's not a fucking coincidence. That's too specific.
See, this is my... Yeah.
Sorry, one more thing. And when you skirt through that show, there's no other fucking metal posters kicking about in that pub, in that scene, in that show, ever. It's just this down one.
Yeah, this is my thing. It's gonna have more credence with the second piece of evidence as well. But these two first pieces of evidence, they're not what you'd get if you just typed metal into a search engine. Or if you went to someone, you like metal, what metal bands are you into at the minute? That metal bands you're into at the minute could do, but
anyone with any surface level understanding of how metal, of like the metal scene, knows that down aren't ubiquitous.
Yeah, that's it.
You had to sort of peel. It's only one onion layer below what you'd normally get, but it's certainly too obscure for a fucking cheeky Channel 4 show trying to make it, producing a pilot with the hopes of working its way into
a stressed out runner or something like that. You get a metal poster, then just like pick up, they just go rock poster, Iron Maiden, done.
That's it.
Yeah.
So That's number one. And I'm just saying, no, that's deliberate. This has been torturing me for 12 years.
Yeah, we're putting his necks on the line and saying this is deliberate. This is not an accident.
Now, the next bit of bit of evidence is links up. Basically, it's the same sort of deal. It's beyond reproach, right? So
Yes.
the Egypts came about. What date is that? 26th of October 2007, and thus begins, if you're looking at the timeline, the reign of the secret Metalhead, which is all faded red.
Is that what the red is?
Yeah, secret Metalhead, reign of terror. It marks the first.
I like how I'm involved in this, but I'm not involved in this at all, and this is hilarious.
It marks the first appearance of what we assume is the secret Metalhead, which is the Aegis, and straight through to the last appearance of the secret Metalhead, or at least that's what I think. Anyway, next is popular Channel 4 TV show The Inbetweeners.
Which was amazing. If anyone wants to know what teenage boys are actually like, watch The Inbetweeners. I can confirm, having been a teenage boy, The Inbetweeners is not a comedy series. It's a fucking documentary.
So this is season 1, episode 1, and it was broadcast in the 1st of May 2008. Ran for 3 seasons, and this pops up every so often in it, and I will go into more detail on that. But what we're looking at is, in the show, it's about, as you said, some male UK teenagers at school getting up to all sorts of hijinks. They have a common room where all the students congregate, and it's nice and generic teenager things, like there's a pool table, there's like a drinks fridge and all that shit, and there's posters on the wall, Green Day, Public Enemy, all the sorts of shit you'd see like in Freshers Week at university. However, there's one piece of fucking evidence, again pertaining to the existence of some guy who's sneaking in metal references, and that is a poster for the black metal band Mayhem's album. Chaos.
Ordoad Chaos.
Ordoad Chaos, that's it, sorry. Now, again, this is slightly different.
This is slightly different.
Yeah, for the reasons being, right. So when I first saw the down poster, I initially thought, well, the timing can't be a coincidence, because maybe Channel 4 has an arrangement with the wider music industry and says, all right, Roadrunner at the time will pay Channel 4 a few pennies and they can promote the album in the background. That doesn't stack up for Down, because the episode was broadcast a full month after the album was released. And I don't think there was any sort of delay in the scheduling. It was advertised for a long time, so I don't think it was intended to come around the same time and then was delayed. I just think it's a bit of a stretch to say, hey, Roadrunner, you paid us a few pennies, and we're now going to promote your album a month after it's released. So I don't think that's it. And then with Ordoad Chaos, it's a full year. A full year's gone between that album coming out and this episode being produced. I mean, being broadcast. So given that The Inbetweeners was a full-on season of episodes, I even looked into how long it takes for these things to get made. And I've pitched a production timeline starting in the 1st of November 2007, right up to the 1st of April 2008. So I'm assuming two things. I'm assuming you're effectively looking at about an episode a month, roughly. And the reason I'm assuming that is because these are real locations they shot at. It was like a real school. It was like real locations in like a cul-de-sac. So it's not on a set. The availability of everything is slightly limited. And when I did some research on how like soaps are made, it typically ends up being like, if it's a soap, it's like an episode a day or two. If it's a drama series, it's about 2 weeks. So I'm thinking, meet in the middle. This is a 22-minute comedy show on Channel 4. It'll take about a week to film an episode, roughly, knowing that there's going to be some give and take there. I think this is how long it takes. And then if you look further, if you're looking at the timeline, you'll see the Egypt production timeline and the Inbetweeners production timeline. They aren't too far apart.
No, they're not. And it's
Potential
one of these
crossover.
And I know there was a series of The Inbetweeners released every year because I watched them all as they came out. So, we've got here 5 months production time. It's not unrealistic, man, is it? You know, you have your 5 months of filming it, and then you have your editing and shit, and then all your promo and crap, don't you? And then, so it's really not unrealistic,
So, let's just loop this straight back to the start.
Yeah.
There is a secret Metalhead in Channel 4.
On 4, there is. Definitely, because
sneaking in these things.
There is, because with that Mayhem poster, once again, if we go on the law of sort of like, if we go on the Occam's razor of like Mayhem albums, it's not Ordo Ad Chaos, because that was like a newer one that was a bit. If someone says Mayhem, the first thing that pops into your head is De Mistris Dom Satanas. That's it. That's Mayhem. What's Mayhem's most famous album? De Mistris Dom Satanas. You know, bang, done. So they'd have a poster for that up. So it's only if, once again, it's like, give us a metal poster. But I don't know. There's got to be some taste gone in there. This guy going, ooh, I like Mayhem's new album's out, innit? I quite like Mayhem's new album. You know what? I'll sneak it in there because that's the shit that I do.
But remember where we are with this, right? So Mayhem were notorious in the early 90s for being very closely associated with, fucking murder and burning down churches. So not only is this an obscure metal reference, but it could be regarded...
Yes.
Yeah, it's not only just an obscure metal reference, it could also be deemed politically contentious. If at a stretch, these days, it could be.
Fucking hell, these days it could be, even though Varg was nowhere near that album, but yeah.
No, he was still in prison, I think.
He was still in prison.
I could be full of shit. It doesn't matter. Anyway, point being, there's a dude running in the background supplying these things. Now, those are the two kind of like stalwart pieces of evidence. Yes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the in-betweeners bit, because I think the way this sort of moves around over the next 2 years could give us credence to some supplementary theories which we have. And then I want to talk about your episode of Skins. I want to talk about the other in-betweeners piece of evidence. And I also want to talk about this unconfirmed bit of timeline here. Unconfirmed.
obscure artifact in the Channel 4 soap Hollyoaks.
Yeah, you say you've seen some in Hollyoaks, and we can't decide whether you have seen something in Hollyoaks or you've seen Foxy Gothbirds and you're getting carried away. So let's just move on into season 2, the In-Betweeners. So everything stayed hunky-dory in season 1. The Mayhem poster stayed exactly where it was, and there was no other totally obvious metal references. Season 2, they've slammed a fucking Green Day poster.
It's how tiny it is. Just with a crappily fucking phone-drawn circle. Jimmy, are you there? Do you have this on a board at home with all your bits of string to it and like an ashtray piled up with tab ends?
When I initially did this, I was able to do screenshots of the actual show from Channel 4. Yeah. Now, when I open up the print screen sort of function, it grays out, so I had to take a picture on my phone. But what you're looking at, for people who are on the podcast, previously the Mayhem poster was just next to an NWA poster. That was it. That's how it was positioned. Now, it's moved over several inches to the left, and now a Green Day poster has been slotted in.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Jim, could we possibly, and might be me throwing it out and getting way into the weeds of conspiracy here, but could we also say that that's NWA? Were they on Def Jam at some point, which is the one where Rick Rubin was heavily a producer? Because that's not just any rap band, is it? Why would kids today have NWA? You'd have 50 Cent or something like that, or someone that was around. You wouldn't have NWA, would you?
NWA weren't an item for nearly 2 decades. Oh, no, about 15 years at this point. I think they wrapped up, no pun intended, early 90s, when Eazy-E died.
Yeah, but Def Jam and stuff, it had Slayer on it, didn't it? Rick Rubin and everything. It was big in metal, so...
Were they Def Jam, or were they Death Row?
Let me check, Jim. This will be my one bit of research to it. So.
Oh, cheers, mate. I've been waiting fucking 12 years for you to pull a fucking finger out on this one. But while you're doing that...
Oh, no. Rick Rubin tried signing NWA to Def Jam. Okay. Right. Okay, so, no, they weren't on... Ooh. No, wait a minute. Yeah, what the? Yeah, songs were originally from various labels, including Def Jam, so I think... No. Oh, no, sorry, no, that's NWA The Legacy, right. Okay,
I have done a bit of research on our two sort of links as well, as in between Down and Mayhem. They aren't label buddies either.
No.
Down was Roadrunner, and Mayhem was an independent French label. So there's no way a parent company would be acting on their behalf in this case.
Yeah.
Again, another point for a promotional cycle, that theory. Green Day had an album out that year in 2009 when this season 2 kicked in.
Yeah.
That was 21st Century Breakdown. So that was happening as well. So, I still think that's not a good... I still want to throw a grenade at that theory just because the Mayhem album was a good year before. and the Down one was a month before. But there's some tenuous link there, I think. And also to the right of the NWA poster, there's a Public Enemy one. Again, these are like ubiquitous posters you'd find in any sort of university student's bedroom, except for the fucking metal ones.
Yeah, except for the metal ones. But Public Enemy were on Def Jam.
Okay.
So that's the Rick Rubin link that I've now tenuously just thought of in the past 5 seconds, just to have something to say rather than laughing at your fucking picture taking skills.
This is the best you're ever going to get. Look, you wanted metal production quality, you've got it.
Oh, hells yes.
Oh, yeah. Also, I made a boom, a pop boom out of my girlfriend's tights, which I've just wrapped over the end of this microphone. It's not worked. All the P's are still coming out nice and poppy. But
yeah,
who cares?
I've got a webcam coming, so yeah, that'll be fun. Anyway, back to the theory.
So, this isn't part of the core theory. This is now a supplementary thing. So we think at this point there's definitely an influence as to how these walls are being decorated, because everything else is the same. It's just there's a Green Day poster now in between NWA and Mayhem for some fucking reason. We don't know why. So let's move on. The reign of terror continues simply because I haven't seen anything else.
Oh god! Many children were scarred by the subtlety of the reign of terror of the Channel 4 Metalhead.
And then season 3 premiere, 13th of September 2010. It's fucking gone. It's gone. Mayhem poster's gone. Green Day's still there. If I'm not mistaken, NWA and Public Enemy are still there on the right of this one.
Yes.
Those of you who are watching on YouTube, yeah, most British students are poxy shitheads like that.
Yeah, we were cool students, so
they're gone. It's gone. So the theory is, he got sacked for being too metal.
For being too metal, that is the only explanation of this anywhere ever.
Yeah. And that's it. Those are our 2 pieces of evidence. But we think shut up. Right. The thing is that they are so strong. These 2 pieces of evidence. They're so obscure. And they're so out there in terms of even metal references. There's no way this was an accident.
No, there is no way that was an accident.
So on the strength of the main sort of exhibits A and B, we want to find the guy responsible for this.
Yeah,
we want to presumably buy him a pint or something like that.
Yes, we do. Or have him on the podcast to explain his life as the secret Channel 4 metal terrorist.
So should we go on into let's start with Hollyoaks, where you say you've seen something, or am I right in saying you've just seen some foxy goth birds and you got carried away?
No, what the Hollyoaks connection, Jim, this was my bit of research in it. The Hollyoaks connection come from, if you scan all the way back to the end of the timeline, so not the first bit, the end of it. So we've got the in-betweeners thing there. So we've got the stretch. So the in-betweeners, series 2, episode 1, the one featuring there we go. We have the picture of, I've got her name up now because I forgot it, Hannah Toynton as Tara. It was a rock chick in it and stuff. And now this one, Jim, this is why this is a stretch, but I think it is still the influence of the Channel 4 Metalhead, because I know this episode quite well because I fucking love the In-Betweeners, So in this episode, they go to see, she says she reads NME, and goes to local gigs and shit like that. And that's not metal. So that's the script writer. This is not the influence of the Channel 4 Metalhead, who's obviously something to do with the props, and the costuming. And now the bands that they go to see in this, they are a sort of like emo-y rock band. They are not an Iron Maiden sort of band. So it's one of them where if they're meant to be on with the band, they'd have got a t-shirt of that band, or like My Chemical Romance or something like that.
Right, I'm going to jump in here because I'm going to jump in because I had the exact same train of thought, and I'm going to fill in this gap that you've got. To link the joke with her reading Enemy, and to link the t-shirt she was wearing and going to a sort of generic local sort of pop punky gig.
That was it.
Joy Division. Get a Joy Division t-shirt on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what would have been it.
Yeah, something like that. Joy Division,
Smiths.
The Smiths, that would have been the joke. But no, they picked an Iron Maiden t-shirt, and that was an Iron Maiden t-shirt, one of the more modern ones, isn't it, that was knocking around at that time?
No, this is Peace of Mind 83. There was...
Is that the tour?
Yep, correct. It was definitely Peace of Mind 83, but the way with Maiden t-shirts are... they're always revamped. They're always around in some sense. So this isn't a T-shirt from 1983. I'm pretty sure they had this one around in 2005 when they were doing the early days tour.
Yeah, but then this is the thing as well. That's specific. It's not like It's not like band T-shirts where you get them at fucking Topshop and shit, is it? Where it's Number of the Beast, which I know because my mate bought one when we went to see Maiden, and I ripped the fucking piss out of him for it. So, Aaron, I'm still not sorry. You're still a pussy for buying your fucking Maiden T-shirt from Topshop. So there we go.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm trying to say it was available all throughout. There were peaks and troughs, but I see your point.
But the way this goes to Hollyoaks is through my digging. Hannah Toynton, and I completely forgot this when I saw her in the In-Betweeners, she was in Hollyoaks. So this is why I went down the Hollyoaks route, Jim, because I thought she could be the secret Channel 4 Metalhead. But she has nothing to do with the early bits of the In-Betweeners. But she was around at Channel 4, so it might not be a he, it could be a she.
So this is, remember that film that came out a few years ago where Shakespeare is a woman?
Yes.
It's that.
It's that, but
it's that. What if the secret Metalhead was an actor that had nothing to do with the series that we're on about?
Yeah,
at the time. No, I see where you're at. I mean, why not?
Yeah, but she was knocking around at Channel 4 before the In-Betweeners.
Yep.
So she was there throughout the entire timeline of the secret Channel 4 Metalhead.
You know what, mate? I've never seen her and the secret Metalhead in the same room together.
Neither have I.
Okay, but I think there's a stretch as well on behalf of the theory at large because, as you said before, the link between the other two bits of evidence were props.
Yep.
This is costume.
Yep.
The umbrella term for in terms of production would be this is art department stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
there could be some crossover there, and there could be a link.
There isn't, Jim, because I checked all this. I checked all the art departments for the In-Betweeners and a couple of episodes of Hollyoaks with her in it.
So did I. I've got an embarrassing Excel document which is just name after name after name after name after name after name after name, where I'm just crossing it all off. There's only one person that links. I think there's only one person that links everything, and it's a casting director, and who appears across a few things.
Oh.
But I've written that off because that could be anything. I don't think they're a metalhead. Okay. I don't think a casting director would come in and say, you know what, there's a band called Down.
Yeah.
That seems too much. Let's move on to. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, but then I suppose the casting director would be gone by the time production happens. So there might not be, because it could be one of these like, oi, Terry, you're into that metal shit, aren't you? What the Metalhead's like? And he's just got his favourite band of the week, and he's like, fucking Down, mate. We all love Down. Right, let's get a Down poster. Is this the right one? No, we need the Nola poster. That's the one that all the kids love. Right, we'll get the Down Nola poster up. That could be an explanation. It could be some guerrilla terrorism like that. It could be, it's not even his role to put posters up. He just suggests the posters and then bangs them up.
Yeah, maybe. We just don't know, and maybe someone out there does. Yes. Right. Anyway, this is what I'm calling it an unconfirmed link. You think that the secret Metalhead exists in an episode of Skins, another popular Channel 4 TV show, season 5, episode 2, broadcast on the 3rd of February 2011.
Yes, I think this because I'm on IMDb. Well, from what I remember from this episode it was about a metalhead, but once again, it wasn't, all the bands I mentioned wasn't generic stuff. It wasn't popular stuff that teenagers were into at that time. I definitely remember Napalm Death being mentioned, and I am gonna, season 5, episode 2, I'm really gonna check because I know there was a band in one of the episodes right when I was checking this.
Napalm Death is in the episode.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's a Slayer reference. There's all sorts. It is a metal. It's a metal episode.
It's a metal episode, but once again, it's one of these where it's actual metal. It's not metal that was popular at the time.
Correct.
Because I don't think. When was that? What year were we on?
2011. 3rd of February.
Yeah, 3rd of February. It's like. I know Napalm Death and Slayer have been releasing throughout that time, but once again, it's not as if there were albums where it was like, oh my fuck, it's like when God Hates Us All came out. I remember that, but that was way earlier, and like the albums after that, Christ's Illusion was before 2011, wasn't it?
Christ's Illusion was 2006. This one would be World Painted Blood 2009. And I think there was Repentless, which is 2013. I think that's been it for
That's
them.
what I mean.
I might be full shit.
But once again, it's one of these where it's like, are there a couple of good songs on those albums? Yeah. Are they were Slayer in all the music press at that time? No. Same with I'm Death.
I've got some piss for your parade on this one.
Ugh.
So the creator of Skins and the writer of this episode is a Metalhead.
Ah.
So I think that's where it's come from, because he just knows, because he's a proper heavy metal dude.
Is this Mr. Brian Elsey? Is it?
Is that his name? I can't remember.
It says creator and writer.
Yeah, one of them.
His full bio now.
There's 3 people involved. There's a guy and his 2 kids. His 2 kids being around about 25 at the time this was made.
Yeah. Said he co-created it with his kid. Oh, right. I didn't know that. That is incredible.
So basically, whoever wrote this episode, I can't remember exactly the name of the person, is through and through a Metalhead. I wish I'd written it down. Actually, I should have done that. So I think, but the thing is, it's such an on-the-nose episode of metal things happening. I actually went and looked at his back catalogue of work as well, and he has a Netflix series, which I dug into. But again, because I didn't really give this theory much credence, I haven't written it all down.
Right, okay.
But I think he might know who the secret Metalhead is. If there's anyone, it's this guy. Yeah.
Fucking hell, Jim. Have we
Wait, hang on. Wait, you just hang on one cotton picking minute.
Right.
I've made a shortlist.
Yeah. Okay.
I made a shortlist, and I'm going to censor out the names, and I'm going to bring it. In fact, no, I won't bring it onto the screen. I'll just read it out.
Yeah.
So, there's the art director for the Egypts.
Yeah.
Each season of the In-Betweeners had a different art director.
Yes.
However, there is one props master for the In-Betweeners throughout.
Yes.
I can't find contact information for the prop master. I've found contact information for the art director for season 3. But that's when we're saying the secret Metalhead's been sacked, because the poster's gone.
The poster's gone. Yeah, it's taking the posters with him.
The art director for season 2 shares his name and potentially his bloodline with the cinematographer for the Indiana Jones film series. So every time you try and Google him, it's just obituaries for this poor sod that's died. After working on
a noble filmmaking bloodline has ended.
This is it. I think it's his son who is the art director for the In-Betweeners, but you'll never know, because every time you type his name in, it comes up with fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark anecdotes.
Okay.
I can't find any contact information for the art director for the In-Betweeners season 1. However, I emailed the art director for the Egypts.
Yeah.
And the website on which this person, I'm not going to name, even though you could find the name very easily, I'm not going to name, because I didn't consent. She didn't give me a consent to be dragged into this bullshit.
Yeah.
I got the contact information from a website, like one of the CV websites, like a portfolio website, that was seemingly 2 years out of date, so I wasn't expecting anything. She came back within 40 minutes.
Wow.
So I wrote an email to this individual, basically saying, you know what, I'll just read it out. Makes for great content, this shit. Right. Hi, name. My name's Jim, and I'm writing on behalf of the podcast I host, The Temple of Bleh, and I'm getting in touch in your capacity as art director. You what?
Posh email voice.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
On behalf of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting in touch in your capacity as art director on the above 2007 Comedy Showcase episode. By the way, it's entitled The Egypt 2007 Channel 4 Secret Metalhead. There's one specific prop in this episode that I'm hoping to pick your brains on. Now, this is the part where I apologise for the sheer obscurity and weirdness of this request. Sorry. Right, too long, didn't read. I actually put this in the email. I suspect that a fan of metal music was operating in the Channel 4 props department. Yeah, well, how do you say metalhead to someone who's not a metalhead, or someone who could be someone so departed from that, you know?
Just be like, "Oi, love, did you ever work with a big hairy knuckle dragging metalhead who was like slapping up posters and fucking down everywhere? Yes or no?"
Okay, stop interrupting. I suspect that a fan of metal music was operating in the Channel 4 props department between 2007 and 2008 and has left clues in some popular Channel 4 productions around that time.
Put illegal, Jim, you should have just put illegally. Operating illegally. The guerrilla terrorist.
We want to try for crimes against culture. About a decade ago, a friend and I both observed separate instances of metal clues being left in different Channel 4 productions. Around the time, I've made it our mission to identify the person responsible and buy that person a drink. End of TLDR.
To justice.
Okay, so in the case of the episode of the Comedy Showcase that you worked on, one of the props, blah, 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 you get it. Here was my train of thought. That specific poster for that specific band is, 1, quite an obscure artifact in of itself, 2, quite timely given the production timeline, 3, therefore the presence of a down poster is absolutely no accident, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I didn't mention anything else because they were only going to be referring to the Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I pitched 2 theories. I say, theory 1, my initial theory was that given the timings of these appearances of obscure metal band merchandise, there must be a promotional arrangement. Blah, blah, blah. We've already talked about this. However, on closer inspection, the timing doesn't work out, blah. Theory 2, someone in the art or props department snuck in some merchandise of their favourite bands without anyone knowing or caring while working broadly across Channel 4 and E4. And his or her efforts have, unbeknownst to them, been torturing me and my co-host for the past 13 years.
I didn't know any of the text of this email, but I fully sanction every word of this.
So the question is, Name, can you shed any light at all as to why there is a down poster in that particular episode of the Comedy Showcase? To be clear, I've managed my expectations to prepare for either no response or a one-line response of, Jim, I've no idea what you're on about, please seek help. In which case, that's absolutely fine, and I thank you for sticking with me this far into the email.
P.S. We are not suffering from crack-induced paranoia.
Okay, anyway, ta-da. Have a great day. Let me know.
Yeah,
blah, blah, all that
good
shit.
Bleh, all the rest of it, yeah.
Right. Okay, so, comes back. Ha, this is hilarious. Perhaps one of my favourite emails ever. So I'm going to try and do a bit of sleuthing for you. Here we go. It won't be an accident that it was there. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Ooh.
I was pretty tight about making sure we had all the posters approved, but it was so long ago I'm going to have to get an old computer out of storage to look at the file. It might not be a very exciting answer, though. Like the production secretary block approved a load of posters or something without any love, care, or attention. But sometimes we would use things that might come from a prop man who knows the bands or something like that. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
So she comes back less than an hour after that saying, Hi, Jim. Didn't get too far. There's no record of it in my files. Here's what I think happened. And I say this with some reluctance as I fear I can feel your excitement drain away with every word. On a show like that, I would go to the person who's in charge of clearing posters for televised usage. That's usually the production secretary. I probably have asked them to clear as many band posters as they can for me, so they write to lots of different companies to block request as much promotional stuff as possible and get it all signed off. I think I was handed a load of posters to put on walls, and that's where the down poster came in. So it's not very a romantic end to your treasure hunt. However, there are lots of prop men who I work with who may well have been aware of down and wanted it to be in the back of the shot. So maybe your man is still out there, right under my nose. Maybe I worked with him and I don't even know it. Keep the dream alive.
My God, I think we will name. I think we fucking will.
I'm not going to name her.
No,
you can find out by just looking for the Aegis and looking for the art director and then thanking them in their own capacity. But
yeah. So all the Blissiples on Twitter if you want to do that, because I'm not on Twitter.
I don't think she's on Twitter. Anyway, and I send her a big sort of like thank you response, basically saying, by slapping on a Sherlock hat, you've over delivered and you've just driven me further down the rabbit hole, because this is exactly what we thought it was going to be. Isn't it? It's just a guy, a lowly peon on the production floor who's cherry picking particular bands. Yeah. That's what we think's happened. That's what the art director, the Aegis, thinks has happened.
Think that's happened.
So we're in the right ballpark in terms of theories, but it doesn't bring us any closer to finding the individual.
Ah, damn. But secret Channel 4 Metalhead, if you are out there, you get a pint from each of us.
Now, be careful, because I don't want any fucking prick coming out and going, yeah, that was me. Dan, was
True.
it? Yeah, send us the pint.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Well, have we thought of some proof?
We'll come around. We'll come around to that once we get there. I mean, I think the objective is to ask the Disciples and anyone else out there who's listening to this: have you seen any other instances of obscure metal references in a Channel 4 show in the past 20 years?
In the 20 years that we don't know about because you have less of a life than we do and you've dedicated time to this.
I've already checked Shameless. It's not in Shameless. Nothing in Shameless. No. There is a Jimi Hendrix poster, but I've deemed that to be too
pop culture.
That's it. Yeah.
No, the secret Channel 4. Yeah, I think it was just that era, and then I just drifted off watching Channel 4, so I might have just missed all sorts. But I've been driven away from Channel 4 for reasons. I can't remember why.
And that's it, mate. And that's it. So I'm going to edit this together into a YouTube video. It's not going to be very good. It's going to be the timeline.
Yeah.
And then probably some stock pictures of me and you drunk or something. But it's more for the people who don't really listen to podcasts. They can just look at that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Just
people who listen to the podcast, just get onto our Twitter feed and I will post everything of substance there.
Yeah, look at that. And like I said, if you got contacts, reach out, sort of thing. I'm gonna try and talk to my sources and a possible guest for the show. He might know someone who possibly knows someone who knows someone. I don't know, but we can always check, can't we?
This is it. This is the watershed moment for this podcast, Rob, because now we're effectively going public and asking strangers. Look, we've done 4 episodes of a shit podcast that sounds shit and looks shit, but we want your help in finding this one individual who might even be dead. And want to find a needle in a haystack so we can give him a pint.
So we can give him a pint, because that's the only reward you get from the creators and hosts of this podcast. Whatever you do for us, you will be maximally rewarded with a pint. One per person per night, because we are that fucking Yorkshire.
You get to live with the satisfaction that you've been entering the subconscious of a TV channeling, TV watching youth for 13 years. There could be a Mayhem fan out there now who doesn't know why they're into Mayhem.
I'll tell you what, right, if you do something for the podcast and we deem it pint-worthy, you get a pint, and you also get to join in with... We'll have you on the show where you join in with our Bleh section when we have another Bleh section, so you can tell us your favourite Blehs. Is that fair, Jim?
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. The entire point of this podcast is to talk to people who like metal before we sort of sink away into our middle class existence and forget metal ever existed.
This is very true.
So, any prick who wants to come and have a chat with us.
Yeah.
No, hang on, wait a second. No, anyone who wants to chat with us can do something that we deem pint-worthy, as you fucking said.
And once again, because we are that Yorkshire, we will be the final judges of what is pint-worthy after we've seen it.
I think you're putting us on a pedestal which we haven't earned, which I think is hilarious, so I'm sticking with it. Right, okay, so that's the secret Metalhead. There's a guy operating somewhere at Channel 4, at least he was between 2007 and 8.
It could still be Hannah Toynton. It could be Hannah Toynton. I'm just saying, it still could be Hannah Toynton.
Yeah, there's a supplementary theory that it's Hannah Toynton. I don't think it's Hannah Toynton. It could be, though. I'm not going to deny it.
Could be Hannah Toynton. So,
I'm going to try and reach out to the creator Skins and say, do you have any fucking clue what you've done? Yeah. because you came in with Skins being your main theory as to why there's a secret Metalhead. That was your main one. I might have pissed on your parade a little bit, but we've definitely got some substance. And I think
no.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many Metalheads at Channel 4, so I think they'd sort of like, give each other a nodding corridor sort of thing, and do a like devil on fist bump or some shit, like to make themselves known to each other, so they didn't get ousted at the same time, because one of them's been ousted, but then the Skins guy wasn't ousted.
I need to find the props master. The props master for the In-Betweeners, he's been working non-stop. He's been working since about 2000. It's not a lot of breaks between what he's been doing. I can't find any contact details for him. Again, I'm not going to name him. I don't want to drag him into this shit. You can find him if you really want. Yeah, I also tried to find the costuming person for season 2 of the In-Betweeners, who would be responsible for the maiden shirt. She's an award-winning costume person, and I can't find anything. But
Bugger.
yeah.
Bugger. Right.
Yep.
We,
So help us, everyone.
yeah. Gizan, because obviously we need fucking help.
Some serious fucking help. We're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to go to my grave knowing who snuck these posters in.
Definitely. Right, we're gonna wrap this up because
Let's do it because we've gone on too long.